entire game. For example, football, we have professional athletes. But how would you rate our coaches? How would you rate our newsmen? How would you rate the groundsmen? These people who are meant to maintain the stadium, even the forces. Talking about security forces now. Are all of these things probably the reason why we didn't do very well?
Well, the first thing I want to say is big ups to everyone operating in and around the sports industry, trying to do what they can. Despite the very limiting circumstances. I had to say this first so that at the time I make the other point, it's not as though I'm overly critical of the level at which we are operating. The truth is that you cannot divorce sports from the general circumstance that you find around. If you are in an environment that is not as developed by comparison to the best climes of the world in this light, then it goes without saying that the sectors you will find, education, healthcare, everything would exhibit symptoms of the level at which that environment or society is operating at. And sport isn't left out. But what we have men and women who nonetheless are doing the very, very best that they can with what they have. And they are making a lot out of it. And sometimes I wonder if they are exposed to a better environment in comparison to what their colleagues elsewhere have, how much more they would excel. Yeah. So what is the level of professionalism?
It's a difficult one.
It's a difficult one. What I can say is that professionalism exists. I mean, we have professional athletes, we have professional footballers, we have professional basketballers, we have professional swimmers, we have professional athletes, runners. We have. Then we have doctors who are sports doctors, we have agents, we have journalists. The list is endless, and somewhere there is a coordinator whose job it is to bring all of these things together. When the teams have to travel, logistics, transport logistics, the hospitality, lodging, all of they are professionals who cater for these things. So these professionals exist, and I have to say, try the best that they can to do the very best possible with what they have. Where the problem lies is the limitation of the environment where they find themselves. A physiotherapist, for instance, might have all of the knowledge, but is he or she operating in an environment that would bring out the best physiotherapist in him or her in terms of the equipment that they need, the facilities required for them to be able to ply their trade and have its effect on the athlete in the best way possible. So professionals exist, and they are doing the very much that they can. However, the sports industry within is not yet at the level which I'm sure we all desire that it gets to, and that has a way of limiting the performance of these professionals.
It has a way of limiting the performance of this professional. I agree. I think for someone who, like I said, lives and breathes sports, you have definitely seen that, yes, the environment does play a factor. But we have, like they like to say, have had those rare moments, right? That despite the challenges, and I agree with you. Take, for example, everybody who's listening to us right now probably knows the name Aruna Quadri, right? And we've also had Chukwumeri J, in Nigeria. These are individuals who, it's been very clearly documented, have single-handedly financed their foray into sports. They have financed their foray, right, into representing the green and white of Nigeria, right? Is that ideal? Obviously not, right? Obviously not. It's not ideal. But to the scale that we are in, and maybe this will probably shock some people when I say this, the fact that Nigeria did not get any medal in this Olympics shouldn't come as a surprise. There were other nations who didn't get a medal, right? And you will probably say maybe they're probably better organized than we were, maybe because maybe their population is small or whatnot, yada, but they didn't get a medal at this concluded games. But what is the real issue with Nigeria, apart from the environment, is the notion that we seemingly don't want to put the horse before the cart. We like to put the cart before the horse. Now, The games just ended. I don't know if you got to see Emmanuel Macron's listen to his statement thanking the Olympic Committee in Paris, reminding them we have the Paralympic Games in a few days, rest for a few days, and we'll have work to do. The work starts now. Last tournament, last games, when it ended with those two medals that we had, people said, oh no, and I remember listening to you and it was Kalela and our colleagues in Lagos saying Nigerians have to start, and Nigeria has to start preparations now. This was 2020. 2024 had come. We heard about some billions of naira was spent in preparation, but it did not look like the team. I'm talking about the Olympic representation at Paris. It didn't look like they were prepared. The Tigers team, for example, had one or two hiccups, if you remember, during the tournament. And we've had in the history of Nigerian athletes, female athletes who have complained that, oh, maybe their tickets were not ready, their visas were not ready. All those things still begs the question, do we really have good professionals handling these sensitive positions?
Well, when it comes to those who occupy these positions, there are lots of question marks. I mean, we have had successes on the way, but it's also been riddled by mind-boggling scandals. For instance, we just had a situation at this Olympics where SA wasn't provided with the equipment required to cycle the velodrome, a bicycle. So,
the senator said they had gotten the request late because she was bumped up. She was not meant to qualify.
I don't buy the story because he also said that they had a 2 weeks notice. So are you trying to say that there is no spare of that? The company only makes the I don't buy it because it costs a lot of money. I understand. $18,000 is about 36 million naira. I don't think that the Cycling Federation of Nigeria would wisely spend that, but you can easily reach an agreement with the manufacturer, some sort of sponsorship or partnership barter in exchange for something, barter, and then you get what you need. So it begs a lot of questions, and even the minister has come out to say that his body language is that of astonishment at the level of unprofessionalism, callousness, carelessness, laissez-faire attitude involved in the running of a lot of these federations and all of the different apparatus involved in making it happen. And he said that now there's going to be an inquest, an inquiry is going, and he doesn't mind sharing each and every one of them. In fact, he argues that he would be there when these federations are electing their next set of officials, because he would want to be a part of the interview process, because what he has seen so far is troubling. That's what he has said. So there are those amongst the ones who populate the sporting sector in terms of the administrative part of it, who have done very much less than is desired. There are those you have to give a lot of credit, who have also stood out in what they're doing as well. Daniel Igali of the Wrestling Federation as well is one of those examples. So but there is still a lot to do. So there are two levels to this. There are the professional athletes themselves who are trying to be as professional as they can, with as much as they know and as much as their environment offers. Then you have those at the administrative level, amongst whom you can find those who you can say have excelled, have done things a little bit differently. And then there are the bulk of those who haven't, who have kept on recycling themselves over the years. And part of the tragedy is when merit isn't quite considered in the appointment of these individuals to the position. Sometimes it's political settlement, sometimes it's just based on patronage, and we're all paying the price for it. I don't want to sound overly critical, but obviously there's a lot of work still to be done. We need more round pegs in round holes, square pegs in square holes.
At the end of the last World Cup, when Nigeria did not make it, Nigerians were up in arms, their keyboard arms, on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, calling out the Federation, asking for work to start immediately. How much work do you think has started? Spain right now are the dominant force in world football. You don't believe me? Just look at their recent results. And you ask the question, when did they start? Well, when we'll come back, we're going to open the phone line so you have a join us, Kosi and I, in this conversation and ask you, how professional are you in your endeavor? And then we'll talk about Rivers in particular, because there's an interesting football academy here that should be the shining light in the coming future. Stay tuned.
For more talk
has to do with sports. Because yes, it is a career of choice for some people. About 3 or 4 decades ago, most Nigerian families would not want their son or daughter to get into sports. Some did, yes, but they were the very few. They were the exception to the norm. Everybody wanted every son or daughter of theirs to be a doctor, an electrician, an engineer, or you know the drill. And then came the 90s, came in the early 2000s with the success of the Super Eagles, both at the international and and continental stages. Focus started to shift. And now we live in a world where an ordinary midfielder in one of the Division 2 clubs in England could be taking home as much as £15,000 to £20,000 a week as his wages. Now, you've heard of the big wages, 180,000, 250,000 for Bukayo Saka, for your Jim Hendricks, for all the other big names, Lionel Messi, Cristiano Ronaldo, you know them. Everybody's getting into that space. But a lot of people are also not taking into cognizance that the sports science director is going to be making money. The agents is definitely going to be making money. We now have the likes of super agents who are brokering deals worth tens of millions of dollars for their patrons. It's not to be taken lightly, and it's not only in football. The athletics federations across the globe are now looking for the very best athletes to perform, and also to be the face of their federations on the global stage. It is little wonder how and why people look for the 100-meter dash as the winner that is, who is going to be the front for athletics and indeed for Olympics for the next 4 years. Remember, we had Usain Bolt for a generation or more. Everybody wanted to be him. He spawned a generation of athletes. And he also went into football as well. So you see, there's a lot of professionalism in the sport, not just the athletes, but those who support the athletes. Fast forward 2024, Ghana didn't do very well at the Olympics. South Africa did. Oh yes, they did. They did better than most African nations. Even Egypt did. Morocco did. Who would have thunk it that the Moroccan male team at the Olympics was going to be scoring goals left, right, and center? This is from a team, on average, that would only score a goal at major tournaments. But you won't score them. But we got to see Ashraf Hakimi deliver a fantastic free kick, making his team go 6 goals ahead against their North African rivals. That, ladies and gentlemen, is a testament of the coaches, the scouts, the physiotherapists, the managers, even the kit men in those teams. Oh yes, the Super Falcons didn't go anywhere. Yeah, how many of you remember that? So, Kose and I are having a conversation about professionalism, and we're going to touch very briefly on one of the brightest stars in Port Harcourt, if not the Niger Delta. And I know I'm not talking about one individual, I'm talking about an organization. As always, when we ask you to call in, do well, turn down the volume of your radio set, refrain from making derogatory or defamatory comments. Didn't see or hear, please do not make mention of it. And very importantly, keep your conversations civil.
The views and opinions shared on this program do not represent the position of Nigeriainfo FM. Nigeriainfo, let's talk. With Jude on 92.3 Nigeria Info.
All right, so Ola Kosi is in the studio with me once again. Ola, welcome and good morning to you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Jude. I mean, I was listening to your brilliant monologue there. I just wanted to say, I think it would be wrong to think that parents have changed simply because they are now more open to their children participating in sports. It's the same principle still at play.
Oh.
When they preferred you to be a doctor, an engineer, they just wanted you to have a better life.
Yeah.
It was where they perhaps the money was, you attain that and then you'd have some quote unquote dignity in society. Well, the pendulum has swung. Football, sports now offers the same.
Yeah.
So it's not like they suddenly started to love sports. It's just about discovering that being a sportsman can give you the better life than being something else good.
All right, so we're going to talk about a light in Nigeria Delta, particularly in River State. But before that, Frank is in Eneka. Frank, good morning to you.
Okay, good morning, sir.
Good morning to you, please.
I want to contribute on what we are discussing.
Yes, go on, please.
Fundamentally, if you see the way we try to solve problems in this country, we solve it in such a way that it does not have a future relevance. If you look at the Olympics that finished, the Nigerian performance has been has been in display. This Olympics is not the only Olympics that is going on worldwide. We have International Mathematics Olympics, we have International Chemistry Olympics, we have International
Olympiads.
Olympics. And when you go through these on the website, you see that it's China and the United States that are dominating every time. Now, these people that participated in this Olympics, they are being trained right from age of 4 to 12, and they will now come and participate. We in Nigeria now, our system is such that it's not sustainable. We don't think about future. We don't think about future.
We don't?
We don't know who are going to represent us in the next 15 years. Everybody just wants to show I'm the one doing it. Okay, give me a reason why the president of this country should be the Minister of Petroleum. Okay, look at when Ambassador was there. So I'm sorry for the executive. The petroleum industry, the NFPT, that is the core problem of what we are having today, has been sold off when Ambassador was there. Then there are a case, and the assembly went in and they manipulated. He cancelled the arrangement. That is what led to Dangote refinery in Lagos. So we should sit down, call experts, and be interested in this country's future. How are we going to do it? What are we going to do? Not in personal present achievement. The current achievement in Nigeria is nothing to talk about. We don't care about our future. Look at the results. 267 over 200 results withheld because of examination malpractice. If this result has not been withheld, the owners will have gone forward to be leaders tomorrow, and then we'll be looking for achievement. I just pity this country. We don't know where we are going. We have allowed some people to be controlling things.
Zion, good morning to you. Zion speaking to us from GRA. Welcome to the conversation, please.
The problem we have in this country is that we mass men into serious officers who are incompetent, who are not even educated enough for their job. That is the problem, which is the corruption. That is the corruption. See, I shed tears for this country when I was in year 1. One of my classmates has all the certification from FIFA, from this and that to play, represent Nigeria. They rejected him.
Why?
Because he has no politician to stand for him. Most of these people that are representing us go and play for us. Those are political footballers, and that's why we are not making better again our football. This is just the truth. The reason Nigeria cannot win any trophy again for now are political footballers. Look at the likes like Agawa that were brought from the Nigerian police. Didn't they come back with medals? Look at those ones that they were picked to represent us based on their professionalism, based on their expertise. Nobody, their talent, project. Even the Bible said that your talent shall make ways for you. But in Nigeria, your talent is a curse upon you. Because of what? Selfish and greedy men who have hijacked the Nigeria as an entity. Sir, do you know that that particular boy, it was in year 2, he made his way to go and play for Asian country, Asian League, and he vowed never to play here. Do you know how many Nigerians are playing Asian League and they are doing well? In fact, most of them are their business. They carry their brother. Now our business, now money, come play. They are not after the name. And we are losing these men day by day. The likes of Anthony Joshua, if he has stayed back here, that guy is talent for die.
Ouch.
Until we see.
That's an assumption.
Assumption?
It's an
Who
assumption.
would have promoted him? Who would have promoted him? I want to ask you. There is a boxer we know in the period of Obasanjo. What was his name? Is it Joe? Wait. That guy was regarded one of the best boxer in the history of football, MBMW. He was even challenging people to come and fight with him. The man no die poor. All the Nigerian footballers, tell me one that is living well. I'm not talking about the ones who got their way to the league. The ones who never went to Europe to play, that are living. Some of them didn't they die poor here. Did their country help them? Did their country provide it for them? Even their medical bill, their country cannot pay for it. They die poor. See, the truth is this. We keep abusing, calling government, but we are the government. Because these particular ones we go, will still come and will behave the same way. Just imagine, we cannot promote sports while we have one of the best athletes here in Nigeria. The Amosu we celebrate. Should he grow up from here? Is it not that way? The UFC guy, what is his name again? Tony Adesanya. Did he grow up here? Is it not that way? We should be even grateful so that they won't pity us, They raise our flag up. We should be grateful. But that narrows down to our responsibility as a people. Do we love this country? Are we ready to sacrifice for this country? The men that fought for our liberation, the men that stood for us, can we, oh my goodness me, do you know that even as we call on radio on daily basis, we are contributing our efforts? Do you know how much we spend on daily basis? If we're like them, my brother will go pocket our money. Some of us, the amount we have spent on airtime, don't give us a visa ticket to travel out of this country. I stand to be corrected. The money we have spent calling on radio station, talking for development, if we are like those people, we no go call on radio station, we'll go save that money, even if now 1 year, go find visa, find international passport, travel out. But we say we will not do that. We will talk for development to protect the integrity of this country, but to up to the government. If we are not purge on ourselves, a generation of Nigerians will come that will audit the account of Nigeria from 1960 to that particular year. And they will investigate you, they will prosecute you, even if you are dead. They will exhume your grave, bring out your body, you stand charges. Wow. People die for no reason in this country, and we have the money.
All right, thank you very much, Zion. Kosi, I don't know if you usually get these impassioned, kind of comments on Extra Time, but he does make a lot of salient points.
Yeah, I mean, he does. His heart is in the right place. Zion is just one of the Nigerian who is frustrated by our everyday experience and wants a few things to be better. What I would say as a response to some of the things he has, look, when you say for the Olympics, there's really no preparation for the Olympics. You don't, and the sports, what I mean is the sports minister came out to say, in fair, that at the end his administration would probably be judged by how well we do at the Olympics. And I'm saying, no, you're putting the tail before the dog. The tail doesn't wag the dog should. The cat shouldn't come before the horse should. What I meant to say is, what is more important is that you do your part in creating a viable sports ecosystem within the boundaries of Nigeria. Then a gold medal at an Olympics would be a consequence. Yeah. If at all it would. For me, it's not that important. It is more important to me to see that there is a viable basketball league going on in Nigeria, then the Tigress or the Tigers winning one gold, and there is no activity here. So no one really prepares for the Olympics. They get this. There's a functioning system, day to day, week to week, month to month, in where these athletes strive. So when it's time for the Olympics,
they just show up.
They show up.
Okay, now we'll talk about showing up shortly. Robin is in the chair. Robin, good morning to you, please.
Good morning, Jude.
Good morning, please.
Greetings to all Akosi.
Greetings, Jude. You're welcome. Robin, sorry.
You see, my anger is not that much. It's not
Robin, hello. Can you change your position? We're struggling to hear you, please.
Yes, I can hear you very well.
Okay, go on, please.
Yes. So I said my anger is not that we didn't win anything, but my pain is that Nigerian government spent a whooping over 9 billion naira for nothing.
For nothing?
You listen to the minister. Look at the thing he was saying. This is a sane country, a sane society. That man would have resigned. Or the president would have fired him. I listened to Mary Onyale. I think I'm correct. As we go to Ministry of Sports, that people who were in the offices could not recognize her. You can imagine that. When has a former footballer in this country headed football federation? You see them, they wear agbada. They call one politician. Joking with Nigeria life. When last did the state governors organize inter-school sports that used to happen in 80s, where talents have been harvested from the locals? All what we hear is empowerment.
Empowerment.
Who do they empower?
True.
When there are talents everywhere, they allow. Look at the entertainment industry. It was when Burna Boy won Grammy Award. That was when former governor now realized that he's the son of River State. Tell me how many musicians have been powered by the state government. What they do is to kill talent and they steal our money. Posterity is judging them. Let's see how it goes. Good morning, Robert Maga, the farmer.
I don't think it's the job of government to empower one single musician or, and Zion also said something about empowering. And it's not the job to use policy. It's the authority to facilitate an environment that allows these individuals to function as a consequence of their talents without government being personally invested in their individual progress. All right. So again, Jude, I want to say this. Robin, the last caller just talked about the entertainment industry. Those who have taken it to where it is today did not
get government loans.
They didn't sit back and merely talk about a dysfunctional system. They got into it and they started to make a difference. What I'm trying to say is that sometimes those who feel like they have the best intentions and know how to get things right should also get themselves involved in the action. You get my point.
Despite the dysfunction, the music industry somehow thrived.
It somehow thrived. So getting to it, who says that if being a commissioner or has a lot to do with being involved in politics, by all means you can play politics.
All right, Charles will be my final caller because we need to get to a final point here. Charles, good morning to you, please.
Good morning, Jude.
Good morning,
How
please.
you doing? And good morning to your colleague in the studio with you.
Morning, Charles.
There were some things I think from what the last caller said, which I very much agree with. You see, I wasn't expecting anything less than what happened at the Olympics.
Oh, dear.
I wasn't. I said it at different forums that, listen, I'm not expecting anything less than to go empty-handed and come back empty-handed, because it was expected. You see, one big problem we have is this: we don't have a deliberate sports policy in the country. Between 1960 and 1999, we had a structure on ground. But post-2000 till date, what do we have on ground? Once upon a time, we used to have inter-house sports in our schools.
We still do.
The officials... No, hang on a minute. Let me finish, please. We used to have officials from the National Sports Commission and the State Sports Council. I'm using Lagos as an example here.
Okay.
Coming as officials of our inter-house sports competition. In Lagos, we used to have Prince Sports Cup. When you go to Lagos Stadium, the Balogo Stadium, which used to be USC Stadium back in the days, you would not believe it is schoolboy football you're going to watch, because the stadium will be filled to capacity. We had talent scouts amongst our coaches then. But what has happened? None of the scouts you see today, what they call sackers, they put heads in spoon. It's shocking. Let's do that. A country of 12 million people. We don't have a deliberate policy. We don't have a functional sports system in place. And you expect that you go to the Olympics and come out get win?
Thank you. I'll just get comment from we want to hear very quickly.
Good morning. Yeah, good morning to you. I've been listening to him. He basically asked him, and the last also basically a bit of society issue here is that generally I'm not just serious about it. We've allowed politics in everything. When I grew up, I went to primary education. I know what it was about the mental health in the schools we had. That's school games. I mean, now there's none of that. I can't imagine the games. Now, when compared that, what is the example? They have baseball, they have basketball, they have America. Those are the national sports. And if they have leagues, they have even in the garden, young league, if you say environment, environment, in such environment, you have athletes that, from those environments. Yeah. And at the end of the day, they become making of that we watch any competitions Olympics. They go there and you see them shine. I watched the US versus France game. And, I mean, you could see it. The difference was just ridiculous.
Yeah, if it was John, thank you very much. It really was ridiculous because, the American team, miles apart.
Yeah, they weren't preparing for the Olympics.
Yeah.
They had the NBA. So Olympic comes.
They have had the NBA.
They send their best.
The very best.
Yeah.
Okay, now let's talk very quickly. I'll give you a minute. I know it's been advertised several times in the past. I know you've had representatives from, this organization talking about the academy, the football academy here. Like I said, it's probably the shining light right now in the Nigeria that I'm in, and particularly since it's located in Rivers State. Kosi, I'm going to give you 1 minute. What needs to be done to make that thing as great as the success on paper is promising to be?
Well, they're already on the right path. I mean, there's a very popular coach here in Port Harcourt, Coach Zico, responsible for discovering some of the best players from this part of the world, including Joseph Yobo, who went on to captain the Super Eagles. He works there. Some of the best trainers. It's a very, very well-run facility. So long as they keep the standards and keep it an issue that has to do with meritocracy, and it doesn't just become another arm for political settlement, inevitably talents will come through the Real Madrid Academy here in Rivers State and would make it to the world stage, I hope, if they can conduit them the right way from here to where next they need to be.
Okay, all right, guys. So professionalism is not dead, but it needs to be sharpened. It needs to have a focal point. At least that's what my guest Kosi is saying this morning. Kosi, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure having you join us. Don't forget, 7 p.m. every weekday, he and the members of the very deadly sports gang will come up your way as they give you extra time reports from the world of football and other sporting engagements. Kosi, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Oh, by the way, Kosi is single, so those of you who like his voice, you know what to do. Call me. I'll hook you up. I'm his guy. All right. So we'll take a quick break and a breather, and we'll talk about cars after the 10 o'clock news. Good morning.